What would you do if you got stuck in the middle of a void with your mortal enemy and you had to get out, but there was no way out, so you're stuck there fighting? Would you make up or would you fight to the death? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Insad and I saw Star Trek the Animated Series The Time Trap, Season 1, Episode 12. It is directed by Hal Sutherland, written by Joyce Perry. If you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. The USS Enterprise is exploring the Delta Triangle. It's this place in space where a bunch of starships have disappeared. It's essentially the Bermuda Triangle? It's essentially that, but in space. A bunch of Klingon vessels appear, and an ion storm happens, affects all of the ships, and now they're stuck in this void. Of course, they're fighting. I love the tension between the two groups. What I like about this episode the most is having two enemies forced to cooperate with each other, if they are to make it out alive. Otherwise, they're just gonna stay there forever. We also get to see the characters of the captains. Kirk is very much like, we're gonna get out of this for sure. 100%, there's no way we're not gonna get out of this. The other captain, the captain of the Klingon ships, they're like, you know what? I guess we're just stuck here forever then. There's a whole society there, whole government. They call themselves the Elation Council. I love it. There's a bunch of people who be like, well, we were the ones who gave up. We're not going to escape. So I guess we're just gonna chill out here. We're gonna hang out. A bunch of different types of aliens are here. How often does this ion storm happen? Are there other ways to get into this triangle other than an ion storm? Is this some sort of space hot pocket where there's some sort of fold that you can't really see, but the spaceship flies into it? It's like a rat trap is probably a better analogy. A rat trap, they go into it, and then when they try to leave, they can't escape, and then they're stuck there. But Kirk is like, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. There's another issue. Their dilithium crystals are running out. So they have not only the limitation of not knowing how to get out of space, but also the limitation of supply and time. So Kirk has to act very quickly. They do eventually get out, and I felt like I was predicting them getting out. Even though I knew that they were going to get out, in really, really, really good media, they would have built the tension up more. In the original Star Trek series, there's an episode that I gave a 9, and I knew that they were going to get out of the situation. But because of the way it was written, the way it was acted, everything, the way everything was done, I think it was the Amoeba Complex, that episode, very similar to this one in like concept of you have to do this, you have very limited time to execute this thing, or else you won't have any other window to get out of the predicament you're in. In that one, it was death, but in this one, it's just being here forever. I guess there's less stakes, but it's essentially death for Kirk and for everybody else. It's soul death. It's not physical death, but it is soul death for everybody on board. I'm thinking about the episode I just mentioned from the original series. I'm like, man, this could have had some more tension. There wasn't a ton of tension. It was pretty predictable. I feel like toward the back half of the series, or at least the back half of the season, as I've noticed, and I'll comment if this pattern continues, I've noticed that everything's just been animated a little bit less and less and less. Maybe there's more budget restrictions, more time restrictions. This is a decent episode though. I like the black voidness of space and Kirk's determination. I love it too. I appreciate his determination to get everybody out. I would have to give this episode because, honestly, nothing really stuck out to me in this episode. There's a lot of potential, but the execution is kind of eh. I really think the writing is pretty decent in this episode, but the execution with the way it's animated, it's just whatever. I felt like it could have done better in a live action environment. If you did this in the original series, bam! You could have, like, I don't know, acted it up, and I would have felt more entrenched in the tension. I definitely think this is more of an original series episode than something that would be good for animation when it comes to Star Trek. But I get it. This episode definitely does feel like a throwaway script from the original episode. Let me know if you know all the Star Trek facts, if I'm remotely correct. I have not looked any of this up. I'm just going based off vibes and what I've seen. So, I'd have to give this episode, I like the tension, but it wasn't enough attention for me to feel real emotions, and I knew everybody was going to be safe at the end. So, I'd have to give this one. But I do like the conflict between the Klingons and the USS Enterprise people that was happening the entire time. That was fun. So because of that, I'd have to give this episode, it's a solid 6.9 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another on the platform really likes that. If you'd like to request a movie review, you can go to patreon.com/ASEPresents, because if I haven't requested on a channel, there's a chance I haven't seen it at all, so you can do that on my Patreon for $20 dinos for 1 month, for one review. And you can also support Daily Grindness by going to autisticboobs.com, so you can do that. All that fun jazz, you can support that by going there. And until next time in Salad Saw, I'll see you later, my sour croutons and megabits. Boom! Beam me up!